Yes, recordings in progress. Hello, Squiddies. It is Dre, Tattoo Squid Podcast. I am back for another assault of guests. I mean, well, hopefully there'll be more. But anyway, we got Boomer from the podcast in the woods, and we all think that one question: does he have a whole bunch of people wearing shirts and ties and lives underneath his house somewhere down below? You know, making bets on who's going to win and who's going to die and be the exalted ones of, the geeky guy, the virgin, the muscular Thor, the, the there's another one.
The
But,
stoner.
huh?
The
The
stoner.
stone. Well, yeah, the geeky one I call him the stoner.
Oh,
That was
okay,
it.
okay.
So you got the stoner, you got the virgin, you got the preppy, like muscle guy, and I think there's four, right? Or was there five altogether?
And the slut, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. You can't do anything without the slut. I'm so sorry, but uh, no, folks,
Oh yeah, literally.
there's no sluts going on in here. Yeah, it's just like just happy people like to have sex all the
That's
time.
right.
You know, and if they can make a business out of it. Oh wait, they did. Oh, okay. Anyway, so it's called prostitution. Go to Las Vegas, it's legal. No, anyway, so or yeah, I should. I want to go to Las Vegas just to go and say, hey, I did it. Yeah. It's like, where'd you go? I went to the strip club. What'd you do? Prostitutes. Okay. And it's all good. Where's your money? Prostitutes. But as it is, Boomer is not any relation to Boomer Esiason or whatever the football guy. Um, Cabin in the Woods. Now, is it what I'm thinking? What it is? Like Cabin in the Woods? It's like not Cabin in the Woods. Podcast in the Woods. Sorry. Is it like the movie Cabin in the Woods?
Um, Almost. So it is from the woods, but it is more based on Evil Dead. So the cabin, the original cabin in the woods. Evil Dead
Yeah.
2 is my favorite horror movie of all time. And I just that's what really invigorated my love of the genre. And so yeah, Cabin in the Woods came out a few years later, and I love that movie too. But this was all inspired by Ash Williams and the that original Cabin in the Woods horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like every time I see you know uh the movies where Ash and everybody else, like when he first started, or not started, but when he went to the cabin and it all started with him and like everybody else, and then he went back or he was still there. Uh, yeah, it was like crazy times, especially the series. Um, but I haven't seen this movie, and I know I don't want to like I don't mind diving into this one because I want to learn more about it from what I read, and I'm talking about the Evil Dead Rise.
Yes.
Yeah, which you've probably seen like four or five of them in a row in one fucking day. Because folks, this guy sees the movie four or five times in one day. I get sleepy just doing the one. You know, and what do you go to the matinee or do you go to like said 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock like we used to go?
Yeah, it just depends. I've seen Evil Dead Rise 5 times now in the theater, but not all in one day. And the most that I've done is three. So it's three movies in one day at the cinema is the most that I've ever done. But normally, yeah, if it's going to be one of those days, I'll start off with something early, then I'll get some lunch, and then come back and check out whatever it is that I'm going to see, and then maybe walk around like a little bit to stretch the old legs, and then come back for an evening show.
Yeah,
But when it came to Evil Dead Rise, I had to see that because I am a massive, obviously massive Evil Dead fan,
yeah,
and it is my favorite franchise of all time. And so I had to see this opening day. And so, of course, it comes out Thursday evening. It says Friday, they always say Friday, but they release them on Thursday. And so I went to the 10 o'clock showing on Thursday, even though I had to be up for work at 4 o'clock in the morning. I did not give a shit because I was going to see this movie the first night that it was available.
by the time you get out of the movies, then you just go right to work. You know, you're like,
Yeah, basically.
like I'm done. I'm not gonna go to sleep. All right, I'm gonna go. You know, then you walk in there with a popcorn breath, and you're like, hi. You're like, whoo, what kind of, yeah, burnt popcorn or something? Yeah, I did. So, what is the, this is what I want to know. What is, and people don't even ask this question as it is, what's your typical movie uh, food consumption while you're in there? Do you do the basic, that I'm not saying this to be offensive, the basic bitch? Or do you do, you just change the shit up? Yeah.
Yeah, and no no offense taken whatsoever. I love it when people call me a basic bitch. uh, so yeah, most of the time, yes, I'm being really basic. Except I go with the extra butter. I don't know, maybe that is basic because I know people love their butter.
Yeah.
Popcorn, and I do not like sweet popcorn. Get that hell that shit out of here. That's I don't. I never understood sweet popcorn, so I can't do that. Normally, it is a root beer with extra butter on my popcorn, or if I'm feeling frisky for some reason, I do the Dorito nachos, and I get a Pepsi Zero because I don't know what it is about, it seems like I'm doing flavor pairing combinations at the movie theater because I'm changing drinks, but I don't know what it
Um,
is, but it just tastes good to me.
it's always fun when you try to like, see, I go in there and I get the big jug of popcorn. You know, it's like it kind of feels like that pornographic kind of feel to it. You know, you really want to put other things in the popcorn. But anyway, no. Anyway, so we get the popcorn and then Milk Duds was the Raisinets. I used to
Okay.
get like, all right, okay, I'm the basic bitch. All right, you know, because that's what I like to do. Like, you know, but I never really seen nachos. I mean, certain places probably do it, and I'm like, if I do nachos with like beans or something, that's not gonna be good, you know. So especially when you're watching the movie, yeah, for 2.5, 3 hours maybe, depending on the movie. Um, and then and then you're watching Evil Dead Rises, and then you know those jump scares are gonna really shit your pants, and then you're gonna do the chips with the dip,
Yeah.
and it's really gonna shit your fucking pants.
Yeah, you get
Literally.
some messy stuff for a messy movie, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's funny when I went to Skinamarink, I went to, because normally I'll go to Regal, but I went to an AMC because they had the exclusive rights to release Skinamarink, and I wanted to see that in theaters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I went to the AMC, and there was a bar in there, and I'm like, oh, say less, and I. I was drinking like old fashions as I was watching Skinamarink. It was old fashions with pretzels.
Oh, that's like you going in like, oh, I gotta tell you like a little story about going to a place you never figured is gonna have alcohol. Me and my wife when we were married, uh, her brother was gonna get married in Italy, so turned around and was like, hey, if you want to go to Italy, pay for the plane tickets. Everything else is paid for. All you gotta do is get the plane tickets. We're like, all right, let's go in debt, because back then, the plane tickets are just like astronomical amount, So go and get the stuff and we go down there, and then we get to the place and we're hanging out for like, it's like a week. I think the third day in, we're driving around into the city of Italy, and all of a sudden we're like, got hungry. So I'm like, hey, let's go to McDonald's. We saw a McDonald's. I'm walking in there. So it's me, my wife's uncle, and we're just like, we're walking around and just checking out the place, see if it's like the regular McDonald's at home. No, there is a beer dispenser,
Oh
like
wow.
right next to the soda fountains. I'm like, what? And then I didn't know it until my wife's uncle was like, Dre, there's beer here. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, no problem. Give me the burger. And the burger they put like the mustard and the ketchup and mayo. I think they had on there. So it was a crazy thing, and I'm like, I can't. This is first I'm going to say this. I'm like, I got drunk in McDonald's. Yeah. So
Your alcoholism is showing. No.
yeah, I know. No, I don't even drink anymore. But that's the reason why. Because I might go to McDonald's and drink there. I'm like, hey, give me a daiquiri. Okay, cool, no problem. But but so how many movies have you seen? Because I know you're doing the 365-day horror movie, right?
That is correct. Yes, and
So
I'm not only am I doing the 365 day challenge or the 365 movie challenge, but
yeah,
I'm doing 365 horror first watches. So movies that I have not seen before. So I'm not counting towards that total movies that are rewatches or movies that I'm doing for the podcast
yeah.
or anything like that. It is strictly movies that I've never seen before, because I think that's not only is that fun, but it like forces you to watch new stuff, to get outside of your comfort zone and find
Oh
things
yeah.
that you have never got around to before. So it's a lot of fun.
I know. I love watching. We call it your streams, I guess. Yeah, not streams, but I mean like your Twitter feeds. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah,
So your Twitter feeds and all that. It's like, oh, first read, and then all of a sudden, folks, he does watch it because he'll have like, I think you're up to what 150 something at 365, I think, or
yeah.
something like that.
I'm at 142, which is the latest one that I posted. I am up to about 157. It's just I usually try to only post about one or two per day. That
Yeah.
way, that way people can you see what I'm posting. I don't want to just flood everything, because
Oh
there
no,
are
no, no, definitely not. It's just like you put in there. This is what it is. Boom, 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 and that was it. But
right.
because I just like I got a suggestion for you. I got a suggestion for a movie. I it's it's a serial killer kind of thing, so it's not like a horror, like Jason kind of thing or something like that. Um, but it's called Terror Train.
Oh yeah, I've seen Terror Trade with Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, no, no. This is a different one.
Oh,
This is
it's a
a
different
totally,
Terror Train.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
This is a
okay.
different one. So it has. I'm not gonna call them low budget actors, but it's a movie that I don't even think that's been like in the theaters, or it's like one of those made kind of like for not TV, but it was out there for anybody to like really watch, or they
Hmm.
play for Tubi, they'll play for Tubi or like certain platforms that would just play any kind of movie there is. So there's Terror Train one, and then there was a second one they made.
Okay,
So try that out, Terror Train. Um, I liked it. It's really it has the gore factor. It has the the knife axe kind of whatever and you're trying to figure out who is the killer,
okay.
and it's almost like an like the Orient Express kind of feel, but more gory without the aha, I know who it is. No, this one's like more like aha, I think I know. Maybe not, and that's it. Yeah, then they get slashed and it was really good. But um, there's Terrifier,
Yes,
because I mean everybody's seen it. Um, some people don't like it, but
I happen to be one of those people.
you don't like it?
No, no. It's
Oh,
just it seems like some director's concept film for something better. It's like, here's my demo reel, here's my special effects reel, and this is what I have the ability to do. So please give me money so I can make a better movie. That's just how I feel about Terrifier, and I think that that's kind of what we got in Terrifier 2, because I
oh,
actually like Terrifier 2. But the
yeah,
the original Terrifier, it's just there's no plot, the acting's terrible, it looks like shit. I mean, but the special effects, the gore effects are really good in it, and so that's kind of the appeal of the movie, that and Art the Clown, of course.
yeah.
But I didn't care for it that much.
But because I see the different kinds of like Terrifier with the kill scenes. And folks, if you haven't seen Terrifier, I'm not gonna say I don't know what's wrong with you, but some people do like it. Like as Boomer will tell you that, and there's some people that don't like it. Because me, I'm the kind of guy that likes a good, I like Saw. Because Saw is
Mhm.
like the malicious, like, well, with Saw is more like the game kind of feel. You know, like they're playing a game, but my knowledge of it is, and this is what I get from it. Jigsaw, he basically doesn't really kill people. In the beginning, he has. He killed like maybe one or two people, but that's personal for him. Other than that, he sees people that's been taking advantage of different people or this and that. He grabs those people just to give them the what's the phrase I'm looking for? Give them the option of freeing themselves, but in more a sadistic way. You know, it's like, oh, you're not guilty, and you're like that. Okay, well, here, get the key. The key is inside your friend. You're going to have to kill him to get the key, or your face is going to look on the other side of that wall. You know, and it's something that I was like, oh wow, because you see the director's cut, not the cut, but I mean like the interview on the DVD, which was like funny as hell the way they were talking about it. It's like, well, you figured people that would go and think of these torture apparatuses is sick in the head or probably murderers themselves. And he goes, no, we thought of this. There's something wrong with us. Yeah, but I don't want to say we could you can just watch what you want to watch and see how it goes. But I do love how you watch every kind of movie and stick with it, whatever is the new first scene that you never seen before. Yeah, and it's really and nowadays, I mean, I still can't even. I see movies like like Guardians of the Galaxy or uh, I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, like the stuff that's coming out, like John Wick 4. I really want to see that, but then all of a sudden, when I want to go, I'm like, I don't know. I'll wait until it comes out on TV. You know, and the basic of the own home instead of sitting there and spending what like almost $50. Like, say if you're going to bring your significant other, you're looking at $50 of that and food. So you're like, holy shit, I could have paid some kind of bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's an investment. It really is.
Yeah, especially if you're doing like, but you go yourself or you go with like a significant other or something.
Oh no, I just go by myself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then it works out better, because you just go, you're paying 25 instead of 50.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah.
I've been with friends and stuff like that, but it's like I'm not paying for this. You pay
No,
for
no,
your
no, no,
you
no.
pay for
I
your own
know it's
shit.
like, because if you're doing like a horror thing and then you got like, a girlfriend that's like, I want to go too. It's like, well, you're paying your own. Because, I gotta do this and this and take notes. But it's really a fun thing that we call watch you go through all the first views actually of the movies and all that. So I was like, and I'm like, and for me, I'm like, well, I don't think I ever seen that one yet. And then I would go and try to look for it, and I think I mentioned like what platform, it's
Hmm.
like, oh, it's on Tubi, oh, it's on here, it's on Shutter, which I had it. I got so many money things and everything we call it. I'm like, I can't add another one on there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's why I get that. I've had to prioritize as well. So I've got Shutter. I have to have Shutter as a horror fan. I've got Screenbox because
Yeah,
both of those combined are like uh, half the price of Netflix. So I've got both of those. I've got HBO Max and I've got Hulu
yeah,
and and Amazon Prime. So those I think those are five of them. And between those five, I think, and like I said, I think because I did have Netflix and I was paying like $22 a month for it. And between uh Shutter, Screenbox, Prime, and oh no, that's it. So those three
yeah.
are cheaper than Netflix was alone. So I mean, so I just prioritized a little bit,
Yeah.
and and that's how I got that because I'm a horror fan. 95% of the stuff that I watch is horror. I say 95, probably about 90% of the stuff that I watch is horror. And
Yeah.
so those streaming platforms are super important to me. And Netflix just didn't have the horror library that I was looking for.
Yeah, that is true. That you type, like even like the old school, horror movies. You type if you want to go and watch, like say Friday the 13th. The first one and the second one, they'll have, and the third one is like, oh, you gotta pay this or you gotta do this. I'm like, the fuck. I'm like, yeah, isn't it supposed to be like everywhere? You go to Prime. Sometimes they have it on there, but
Yeah.
Netflix is never. You don't even see it on Netflix.
No, no, you
Like
don't.
Prime, yeah, Tubi. You'll see a vast array of like that's a conglomerate of different shit. From your anime stuff to your cartoons that you haven't seen since you were like 12. You know,
Yeah, it's got
um,
good stuff on there.
yeah. I mean, it's great. I'm going through the whole thing, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, oh, I didn't see this one. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch that. Oh wait, I'm gonna watch Hunter. You which is like that TV series in like the '90s. Two cops or hell bent on getting people off the streets. Um, but so what else is going on with your the podcast in the woods? Or actually, have you ever talked to like the creator of Cabin in the Woods, or
No.
even or the movie that you really love, which I love too. Yeah.
No, we are not that famous yet. I don't. Sam Raimi has no idea who we are. Although we did do interviews with both Jill Gavargazian and the who is the director of The Stylist, as well as Najara Townsend, who is the star of The Stylist. And it's one of my favorite movies. I absolutely adore The Stylist. I think it's phenomenal. It's so well done. It's so well acted. It's visceral and violent and sad. It's really really good. And so I did have the wonderful pleasure of getting to talk to those two on the show.
Yeah.
We have B. Harrison Smith, who is coming up in a couple of weeks, who directed the
Nice.
special, which again, it's so fucking weird that I love it. I love a lot of weird shit. So that one's right up my alley, and I'm excited about that one. I'm really excited to watch it with Gabby. Gabby, who's my co-host, and she is amazing. She's so funny and smart, and just absolutely makes the show. But she's never seen the special, and and I know it's going to make her squirm. So I'm really excited for her to have to watch this one. And so yeah, we have those, but we also do movie reviews, of course, and we
Okay.
talk about everything
Yeah.
from like obscure stuff to like big budget things. We just love talking horror. We did our first movie stream, our first watch along last week. We're doing another one tomorrow, and there is actually a vote on Twitter right now for which movie we're doing a listener's pick. So out of 4 choices, the listeners get to pick a movie for the watch along that we're doing, and that was really well received. Our first week, I wasn't expecting it as much of a
Oh
turnout as there
yeah, I was
was.
gonna do that, but I didn't have the Shutter account at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time. So, but
Um, and
do it another time.
I think that they're doing well. It depends. It depends on which one wins, but I think we've got one from Prime, one from Hulu, one from Shutter, and then if I remember right, another one from Tubi. So we'll see which one wins this week. But so we did our first live stream. We are about to release our first YouTube video pretty
Oh,
soon.
really?
So yeah, we're gonna be getting into that. First one is a kind of a reaction video on our first year anniversary, because we just hit in May our 1 year anniversary of the podcast,
Oh,
and
congrats.
thank you so much. We had a lot of people that reached out to us for that, and wished us happy anniversary and all that stuff, and it was amazing. So my reaction to that is going to be our first video that we released, but we're also going to be doing trailer reactions, little mini reviews, like come with us to the movies type things, because normally
Yeah.
we don't do new releases. But we if we're doing YouTube, we do 3 or 4 minutes spoiler free review on a brand new movie release that we just went
Oh,
and
yeah.
watched. And so
Definitely.
so we got lots of stuff that's coming out. In fact, like that's kind of where I got my start, was YouTube. I had a little show that I called Stick Figure Reviews because I didn't know how to edit. And so what I did was I could put like these little videos of like stick figures because I didn't know how to edit in like the trailers and the clips of the movies that I was
Yeah,
talking about. But it was like little drawings of the scenes. So it would be like Ash as a stick figure, and he'd have like a little chainsaw hand, and I'd talk about the scene. It was really funny. And so now that we're doing this as the show, I've had several people that have like, you have got to bring back stick figure reviews. So
yeah,
I'm probably gonna do. We're probably gonna dabble a little bit in that as well.
yeah. I got. We call it when you do something with Prime or something, and let me know. I'm gonna want to jump in on this one. The Shutter, I know I'm not gonna have an account with. I mean, I love horror movies, but like I said, I can't really put another account in it
Okay,
somewhere.
okay, yeah, I will let you know. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, because the ones I have, like, I got Prime, I got Netflix, Hulu. Well, we have HBO Max, but through family. Uh, Disney.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
um, that's really a must. I mean, if you're like a, uh, uh, Disney, if you're a Marvel, if you're, well, even if you're DC as well. Um,
Well,
and
Disney's worth it just for The Simpsons alone.
Well, that too. But then when you want to watch like really cool like graphics of like the Marvel heroes or whatever, or if you want to watch just Disney alone, then that's it. And then they got the Star Wars and all that,
Yeah.
which is also great. And folks, it's Cinco de Mayo. Uh, and I have to say this because I don't really drink anymore, but I am drinking some nice, good, cold iced tea. My friend Boomer is drinking the IPA, uh, whatever it is, I forgot. Uh, and that's why I hate about this because I have hiccups. Excuse me. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to burp one, but and I say excuse me. My girlfriend will be happy I say excuse me. So, but yeah, Cinco de Mayo. Do not drink and drive. Drink responsibly. Take Uber. Take a Lyft. Take a bus. Whatever. If you live near the place, then walk. As best as you could. Even if you had like those 15 daiquiris and a pitcher of margarita and, a couple of tequila shots, that would be called tequila, which I call that all the time. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have tequila. You know. And what's your favorite drink? What's the go-to for Boomer when he goes out and not to get smashed, not to get tie one on or whatever, but what's that one thing that you need? Like you're gonna pour something. If it's a beer or if it's a mixed drink or a shot or what have you. You know, what
Yeah.
is that one thing?
So I don't like to just get drunk for drunk's sake.
Yeah.
There's been times when I've gotten a little bit inebriated because we're doing a show, and I always am. I'll have something while we're doing the show, and sometimes they run long, and so it's like 2.5 hours, and I'm sitting there
Oh,
drinking.
yeah.
So it just kind of sneaks up on me sometimes. But I enjoy whiskey. I really, really love whiskey, and I just drink it neat. So room temperature. My favorite daily drinker is Lafroig. It's a 10-year Scotch, which is delicious. It is super complex, and it's relatively inexpensive. So you get a lot of bang for your buck with that one. I mean, it
Yeah.
it has it has a really, really diverse set of flavors. So it starts off just like a lot of scotches where it's extremely smoky on the front end,
Yeah.
and then you kind of get like this fruit flavor in the middle, and then it finishes on like almost an orange peel flavor. And I have never experienced that before, and so it's so interesting that I love it. But I really enjoy Nopigu Castle, which is an Irish Redbreast 12, also, which is an Irish. I enjoy a good bourbon. Angel's Envy is probably my favorite bourbon.
I love this lingo stuff with the because I have friends of mine. We call it as Dreppin Stone.
Yeah,
They do a podcast and they do all the whiskey stuff, and it's like, oh, I had this and this much, and you take this, and I'm like, wow.
yeah,
You just know the idiosyncrasies of the whiskey, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah,
half where it came in.
it's just delicious, and I don't do shots because I think that's wasting your especially your good whiskey. And so yeah,
Yeah,
I will just sit there and sip it.
yeah, you gotta savor it, do that whole, swirl it around or something. I don't know. I mean, there's other things that they swirl. They swirl around the wine or a certain kind of drink or something like cognac or something or cognac. And but so you're the refined, whiskey drinker. Like okay, you're not like okay, I'm gonna go and do that college fucking whiskey, like cinnamon fucking whiskey, the banger that everybody uses. You know, believe me, I seen these college kids. They go into the bar. I'm like sitting there. I'm like the oldest one there. Tattoos and those on the hot girls coming around. They're like, "We love your tattoos. Yeah, where's the bathroom?" You know,
Yeah.
and you're like, over there. She goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, you smell nice." Oh, they just walk right off. I'm like, uh, you know, why am I have to grow old? I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm her dad or something. It's so sad. No, but anyway. But have you had like any crazy uh bar kind of things? I know you're not like the one that goes out to get drunk, whatever, but everybody has gone out and just have a couple and just relax. But was there a night that you just, was like fucking crazy monotonous and you're like, what the fuck just happened? You know, kind of thing, like you woke up and you're like, I don't remember talking to this girl, but she's in my bed. Yeah, kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was younger, of course, I've had some crazy nights. I had a buddy of mine, and it was so funny. So I remember one time we used to go to what we used to do is like we would start off and we would drink at the strip club because it was cheap. It was cheap to drink at the strip club because they want you to tip your waitresses, they want you to tip the bartender, to tip the dancers and stuff like that. So drinks in there, they're getting you drunk, so you're
Yeah,
happy. So we would start there, and then we would go to the club to
but you
finish.
can't touch them. You can't
Yeah,
touch them.
to finish the night off. Yeah, and we weren't interested in all that. Although we did, like, we were in there so much that we knew everybody. Like, we knew the bouncers, we knew the bartenders, we knew the dancers, we knew the waitresses, and they all liked us. I mean, we were friendly and stuff like that. We were not weird, and we were just there to have a good time. So we
Yeah.
would talk to them and stuff like that, and so we would have a good time there, and then we go to the club. And I remember there was one night they had some kind of special. It was in these like little test tubes, and you could buy like a whole bucket of those for it was like $5. And so we got a couple of those, and then we went to the club and we're drinking more. So we were
Yeah.
just plastered. My buddy and I just absolutely plastered. And I remember like we went to Waffle House, right? And Waffle House is a great thing, to kind of soak up some of that alcohol after a long night.
Oh my
And
God, yes.
we went to Waffle House and we get in there and the waitress comes over, she brings her menus and she's like, okay, what can I get y'all? And I'm like, I want some biscuits and gravy and a Bud Light. And she's like, well, we don't have biscuits and gravy. I'm like, you don't have biscuits and gravy at a breakfast place. I was so like upset that they didn't have biscuits and gravy at this place. He said I was just slurring. Um,
Give
but
me what
and
you got.
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, it turned out fine. I ended up having the hash browns and it worked out. But yeah, I was so upset at the time. Like I didn't, I never get belligerent. I always like when I get drunk, if I've ever been drunk, it's just like, I go into fun mode.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just remember that so clearly that I was just so upset that they didn't have biscuits and gravy and they didn't have Bud Light at
Wait,
Waffle
wait, wait.
House.
I'm looking at the menu for because I remember there is a certain uh oh my God, it was like there was a certain kind of a food dish. Maybe I'm getting mixed up with Denny's or something. I don't know. I know Denny's is the Grand Slam thing because I used to go to Denny's a lot when I lived in Pennsylvania. I get in there and build your own burger. Oh, I'm surprised I'm alive to this day. We call it that, because I made like the build your own burger that can stop a heartbeat. That's how bad it was. It's like had macaroni and cheese and mozzarella cheese, and the only thing that was like healthy was it was a whole wheat bun and a turkey burger.
Okay.
And then everything else was like, it had egg on there. It had hash browns. It had macaroni and cheese, mozzarella cheese,
Nice.
sausage. Uh, there was like some other shit on there, and then there was a ketchup, and then all of a sudden you get it, and it's like about this fucking big, and you're like, "Ugh." You couldn't even try to finish it, and you try, and then you finish it, and you're like, oh my god.
It just feel like you want to die after that.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck did I just do? And then all of a sudden after, then you get the one friend that goes, anybody up for some dessert? Well, yeah, okay, we can go for dessert, no problem. But that was like, but yeah, let me get back to the thing. I always sideswipe Waffle House, but there was like I loved it when I was in Pennsylvania. Just go in there, and there was always a joke about it, because you go in there, you're like, oh, we're gonna have the waitress at like 2 o'clock in the morning, fresh stitches in her hair, because she got into that fight we call with somebody at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like get out of here, no, then a pan hit her in the head or something. I don't know, but as it is, well, anyway, there's a certain saying. Now, folks, if you know what the saying is, just leave a message, Twitter, go to Instagram, go to my pages, and just leave it. Yeah, because I like the fact strip clubs now. I don't know if there's like major strip clubs over where you're at, or is it just like vacated. You know,
I haven't been in a long time actually. It's been probably I don't know. It's been probably 7, 8, 9 years or something like that
yeah,
since I've actually been to a strip club. I mean, not that I wouldn't go. Like if I don't know
yeah,
if they decided they wanted to go, I'm not going to be fighting them on it.
yeah,
But
yeah. Folks, I can see it right now. After this podcast is over, Boomer's going to the strip club. It's Friday, folks. It's Cinco de Mayo. You have to go. You walk in there, hey, ladies, it's Cinco de Mayo. Oh, actually, there is a funny story about my exploit. Well, one of my exploits of the strip club. Me and my friend John, we go to like the restaurant bar. A friend of mine, runs it. We have our drinks, and then we're like, he goes, "Hey, we're going to strip club." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So we go to this one that's like around the corner, and then we get in there, and as soon as we get in there, you got the old, you got the grandpa and all that, the pops, and they're just sitting there, hey, you know, yeah, change of $1. Anyway, so like that kind of thing, and they're playing some kind of like weird ass music. Not weird, but it was like something like an old person would listen to. But it's their music. But then the strippers are just like, like they're not into the music. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm gonna have to change this up. I'm like, where's the jukebox? And folks, there is a jukebox. There's a thing called that. Just because we got these and computers and all that, and you could go download all the shit. There is a thing where it has discs, and you put your money in there, and that's where the music came from. Watch Back to the Future. You so you got that one guy, Back to the Future. What the fuck is that? Yeah, but go in there and I put the money in the jukebox, and I'm like, all right, put on uh, White Zombie. Like Rob Zombie's first band that he was in, where it's
yeah,
like more human than human. All of a sudden, boom, and then kicks in, and you see like the strippers all like, oh fuck yeah, yeah. It's like, thank you, sir, thank you. You're getting a free lap dance. I was like, fuck yeah, all right, no problem. I don't have to give no tip. No, but I would. But it's like folks always tip your bartenders and your strippers and your lap dancers and 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 even the bouncer at the door, so that way he doesn't punch your face in when you touch the girl by accident. It's like here's a 50. I'm gonna touch a boob, you know, or there's always that one guy that you're going hanging out with, which in my case was my friend George. We call him Jesus George. And why? He looks like Jesus. You know, literally, he does. He just has like a long beard, the long hair, and this is my impersonation of Jesus George at the strip club. Goes in there, gets the wad of like dollar bills up to here, like that much, and he just like puts it right there, and he's like, and I'm like, really? The fuck? So then we get driven home, and he's sitting in the back with me, and I'm like, and it's my own car, and I'm like, I can't drive. I was like, dude, can you drive? No problem. No son. Jesus George is like, hey, I wonder if she's gonna call. I'm like, who? It's like the stripper. I'm like, you gave her your number? He's like, yeah, she said she's gonna call. I'm like, she says that to every guy,
Yeah.
but she's special.
Yeah, no, they're not calling.
They weren't calling. No, if they were, they'd be like, listen, you left your wallet here. We took all your money. Um, you know, we love the picture of you and your mom just hanging out. Yeah. but but so we got Cinco de Mayo. We just talked about. We talked about the different movies that you're watching, strip clubs, your 1 year anniversary. Which is a feat on itself. I think I have. I think I'm on. I guess year three. I guess.
Oh, nice.
So it's like I started out, and I'll give you a little backstory about me as well. Uh, I started out, and some people probably don't even know this actually. I started out doing, um, the podcasting because I've always wanted to be in a radio. I just don't want to go back to school. So I just wanted to be like, hey, can you, here, I'll just put me in there. I'll try it out. You see a show that's about DJs and everything else, and you just want to go and do it. I want to, but it never came about. So figured this came around, podcasting. I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And the first year I was just talking about anything every day. It's like a vlog, kind of thing, which I never really done. And I'm like, I had my phone before I went to work. I'm like, yeah, it's cloudy. It's ET day or something, whatever day they have those crazy days, the crazy holidays, like Cupcake Day or whatever. And then talk about different shit. And then October would be my big month because I'll be talking about every different horror movie. Like you would go and see a different horror movie like every day. Me, I'll be talking about the movie every day. So I'll be like, oh, I'll talk about Omen, and I'll talk about Poltergeist, and then I'll talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and whatnot, or Candyman.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I'll do that for the first one. Then the second one is like the second season, which is this, which is getting podcasters to come on, and I interview them like a late night talk show host kind of thing, and I'll write everything down and make like an episode art and post it on there, and then just do it on Twitter or whatever I can find somewhere to post it on, and do that. And I figure, okay, I want to do like a game show kind of thing, which I know it's going to take a while now. So, folks, be patient. It could happen. I actually heard a review of my podcast, which kind of hurt. Yeah, I don't know. And some people get it. Some people get those reviews, like they get the written reviews, and it sounds nice. But then
Hmm.
I actually listened to one podcast, and they had my name, the Tattoo Squid podcast on it, and I'm like, huh, okay. It's like, oh, our review of Tattoo Squid podcast. I'm like, all right. It's like, yeah, this guy sucks, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of harsh. What the fuck? And then because they were listening to the first maybe couple of weeks of me doing the whole thing. So now I'm trying to get my voice. Like now I can be able to speak and speak, and form sentences without going um um and the space, like dead space. Now I know I'm just keep on talking and rambling, but everybody understands it and they like the sound of it. But now it's more like in the beginning, that's what they were getting the whole thing from. It's like, I don't know, this guy's podcast is not really that good. I'm like, you didn't hear like the stuff I'm doing now. You're going
Right.
from the beginning. That's like everybody starts out cruddy, you know?
I cringe sometimes thinking about
Yeah.
some of the early ones that I've done, and not only that, but I know legends of the podcasting world who say ums and you knows and have
Yeah.
filler and all these other things. So it's who cares, as long as it's entertaining. And so we started getting reviews and stuff like that on Apple Podcast, and of course most of them are positive, and they're like, "We love what you're doing. You're funny. Gabby's funny and amazing. You two have great chemistry and all this stuff."
Yeah.
And there is one review on there that is a 1-star review, and it bugs me so bad because it's from overseas, so I can't see it. And I
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really want to know what it is that they said, because not only do I want to grow as a podcaster, but I think that kind of stuff is funny. And I keep telling Gabby, I'm like, you have not become a podcaster until you have gotten a negative review.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
don't know what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is, but I was like, you're reaching people when there's somebody out there that hates what you're doing.
yeah. Because even my girlfriend was saying that. She's just like, it's like you knew this was going to happen. There is going to be some negative feedback.
You're
So,
not going to please
just
everybody.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, exactly. That's what she said. It's like you can't please everybody. You're going to get that negative feedback, and and I'm like, no, no, and I wasn't really like upset about it. I was like, wow. It kind of like made you think, and I'm like, and it didn't make me think like, oh, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm like, no, I'm still gonna do this stuff. It's just
Oh yeah,
now I have more of a, I know I can be able to talk. I can be able to get certain things and get questions out and get like more stability for the podcast itself
right, right.
and make it very concrete somewhat.
Yeah. I also wanted to turn it around on my end. That's part of why I wanted to know what it said, because I was going to read the review on our show and be like, somebody is being a real bitch.
Yeah, and I don't even I know I know who it is, but I don't know who it is for some reason. Like it's in my head, and I'm like, I can't figure out what the fucking name is. But it doesn't really matter as it is anyway. It's
Yeah,
just one.
I wasn't gonna name names or anything. I just
No,
wanted to
no, I wasn't going
review
to
it.
either. But I'm like,
Yeah.
da, da, da. But it is what it is, and it's gonna happen. And I'm like, and it's only one. That's the only thing I heard, and everything else has been very positive, very um, uplifting.
Yeah.
And I had one written from Bex Goose. She does the podcast review, like a written review kind of thing. So she usually, and she has her own podcast as well. And I had her on like once or twice
Nice.
a couple of months ago. I think like you're right now, I think is like maybe 101 of like guests that I had, or
Oh
maybe
wow.
actually 100, I think. I don't know. But I usually have it down. I write down the number, and yeah. But now it's like past that season because everybody has a season where it's like, oh, I'm just going to do 10 episodes, or I'm just going to do 20, and that's it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to do 100 and see what or try to get to 100 and see what goes, and or see what sticks to the wall. And I I am very appreciative to everybody out there that has been on my podcast, whether it's famous podcasters or ones that's just starting, or some people just started a week ago, and I would have them on. And you guys do your podcast that's like, oh my god, But then when you go get more into it, uh, then you become really good friends with those people. And I really want to get a bunch of us just to go to a diner,
Oh yeah,
you
that would
know,
be fun.
and just go and have like their friends come along, but they're doing the video fucking thing, you know. like you see the round table thing with the celebrity, celebrity, yeah, I guess celebrities. You know,
Mhm.
they got the celebrities sitting at the table and they're talking about their different movies or they're talking about this. And I want to go and do something like that. I want to go, I mean, if the game show thing goes off pretty good, if it does, then we could do it like down the line. But it all depends on location, location, location. you
Sure.
know,
Yep.
so because I forgot where you're at. So
I
what's
am. Oh, I was going to say I am in Norfolk, Virginia.
I kind of figured, with not the southern drawl, but you have like a little southern like accent to
Yeah,
it.
just a little twang
Just a
there.
little tweak on it, like that. Me, I have like everybody's like, oh, you got that New York accent. I'm like, nah, not really. I mean, I was living in Pennsylvania. I had that southern, background kind of
Hmm.
when I was living there for 10 years. But then I I tried to do it when I got back to Long Island. I'm like, hey, I'm from Long Island, but didn't work out. They're like, no, you need a cowboy hat. No, no, I like Dukes of Hazzard, but no. But yes, I just want to try to do that. If you can, we figure out a day. I don't know if you're up for it, but see how what we can we all put together. I want to try to get Crime Diner, the girl from Crime Diner. They make delicious fucking food. Um, and I don't know if I could listen to the podcast or if I'm just getting fucking hungry. And I told him this. I'm like, you're making me hungry every fucking time I listen to you. And then then you have like Pixie and Mr. J, which and their podcast like escapes me as it is because I haven't really used their name, but Pixie and them they're retired um entertainers of the um what we were just talking about, like the stripper kind of exploits, I guess. Um, and numerous amount of people, like a 2010 minutes, uh, you know, podcast underscore 27, get like a whole bunch of different people and just have them videotape it and we just talk about different shit and then
That'd be
post it,
cool.
and just post it and then see how it goes. And then you're like, whoa, look at this, like a fucking sit down. With
Yeah.
not your famous fucking podcasters, but some people that have a podcast that has a good run. Um, so if any podcasters are out there and they listen to this, which I'm going to put this out probably in next week, like maybe Monday, Tuesday, something around there. I don't know. Which I'm now trying to do the episodes earlier instead of waiting like a month. Because I'm always stockpiling all the videos. Like interviews and all that. So I'll be like, I would have one with you, and what I have one with. Wait, hold on. I have one next week with. Hold on. Where are you? Um, come on, you bastard. Um, the Cut podcast.
Okay.
So that's like next Friday.
Nice.
So that's what I'm gonna try to do, put it out there, next week so it's fresh in everybody's mind. So as I say this, anybody that's a podcaster, you're listening to this or you're passing on, there are people listening to it. If you want to go and get together, I'm in Long Island, New York. If you're anywhere near that, North Carolina itself, if you want to do the drive, or I can try to do the drive going to North Carolina. You know, I just got to watch out for the hurricanes.
Yeah.
And you guys get a lot of fucking hurricanes between Florida and going up coast. Uh, you guys get hit really, really fucking bad. And um, but is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything that's like coming out that because I know you mentioned that you're doing uh, uh, the watch along, with different movies and all that.
Yeah, yeah, we're planning on doing that either every week or bi-weekly. Right now, I mean, we've done 2 weeks in a row, but we may switch that to bi-weekly because yeah, we're planning on releasing all kinds of content. Whether it is, like I said, whether it's our YouTube stuff, our normal show, our interviews,
Yeah.
our special episodes. I mean, we got all kinds of things coming out, and we have our entire year has been booked with people that we have coming on the show. We just talked to David from Horror Movie Talk this last week when we covered Nosferatu, and then we have the amazing Duncan McLeish that will on our next episode that we'll be talking about Cemetery Man. If you don't know Duncan, he's fucking amazing. He is such a great dude. Has an incredible show called Podcast Under the Stairs, and I've been a big fan of that show for years now. He's been going for 10 plus years, and is one of the hardest working podcasters that I've ever known. He has like 3, 4, 5 shows that come out per week,
Oh
all
yeah. Oh,
different kinds.
he's busy, busy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's amazing.
He,
But like I said, yeah, that's coming out. But yeah, we got all kinds of things that we're doing. We're always active on the social medias because we love to interact with everybody who listens to the show. Because we're not just about you hearing our opinions. We want to know yours as well because I'm and Gabby is not the end all be all of everything. And that's the cool thing. So I know I've talked a lot, but that's
nah,
what I'll
okay.
end on right here.
I do the same thing.
When it comes to like horror, and I love this because you talked about how you love Terrifier. I really don't care for Terrifier. Like
Yeah.
you like Saw. I don't really care for Saw, but I do love something like Cube that Saw was kind of inspired by.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I love A24. Some people hate A24. The cool thing about horror is it's so diverse that there is like a little something for everyone.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you always have those assholes, those gatekeepers that are like, well, if you've never seen this, then you're not really, you know what? Fuck those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
On the whole, horror fans are amazing because a lot of them think, in terms of this, what I'm going to say. As long as you love horror, that's really cool to me. And even though that we like different things, it's that's what inspires great conversation. And
Oh yeah.
so I
Definitely. Yeah.
really dig that.
Yeah, it's like the horror community as well. Like you got the podcast community and you got the horror community on like Twitter, which
Yeah.
is like immense. It's like I'm more astounded on how they got. I'm looking at those GIFs that you put up there, the GIFs or whatever,
Yeah.
or GIFs, and then I'm like finding, like I type a word, I'm like, okay, I'll put this one out there. And I see everywhere else, like the horror community had like, blood and guts, the face ripped off. I'm like, where the fuck did they find this at? I'm like, I've been wanting to get this one. I'm like, shit. And I'm like, oh. So I even got like, I downloaded the app for the Giphy or whatever. Maybe that will work out. See what happens. Next on Geraldo. No, I'm just kidding. But but so tell everybody where they can find you, and but not like stalking, find you. Don't give the address. Don't lock your doors and windows.
Sure. Yeah. So if you would like to follow me, you can hang out in the bushes outside of my house. I spend a lot of time naked. So if you like that sort of thing, no. So you can find us on all major platforms as Podcast of the Woods. If you just Google that, we will come up on whatever podcasting platform that you get all your good favorite podcasts. You can also find us on Facebook, on Instagram or Twitter. I'm sorry, at Woods Podcast One. Facebook is Podcast in the Woods, and we are on the Slasher app as well. So if you download the Slasher app, which is amazing for horror fans, you can find us again at Podcast in the Woods. And like I said, we interact with everybody. I try. Even there's been times when I've gotten a few hundred responses to something that I've posted. Something will just go crazy for whatever reason, and I try to respond to every single person that responds to me because I value that, and I love
Yeah.
that interaction. So and yeah, we absolutely love our listeners, and yeah, if you happen to like what we do on our little shit show, thank you so much for listening, and thank you, my friend, for having me. This was like so much fun.
Yeah, I mean that's what I try to do. I mean, I don't want to make it like boring or anything. It's like we talk, we have fun. Everybody, has a great time. They have a good outlook of it,
Just talk about
and
whatever.
just talk. It's like shooting the shit or whatever. But then people that listen to this or see this, and they're like, oh wow, this guy, Boomer, he's so, he's like likable. If you never heard like if they never heard the podcast before, and they see how it's like, oh, he's upbeat and he's doing this, and then he likes horror movies, he likes this, and drinks IPA stuff, and and loves strippers and blah blah blah,
I mean,
and
it
it's like,
doesn't.
yeah, who doesn't? Well, there is like, don't go to a strip club that's called the Beaver Creek. That's all I'm saying. If you want to see a grandma strip, that's fine, but I I I got coaxed and I'm like, ooh, no. Nobody wants to see that. No. Anyway, I can't even look at teeth the way they are now. And they're like, hey, we'll put it in the jar. Well, anyway, folks, I didn't mean to. If you're eating popcorn and watching the movie, but and speaking of which, and I know I'm making this longer as it is, but I love your background because it's like that psycho-ish kind of feel, like the background, you get the desk and it's all like that half like shade with the light, and
Yeah.
then the
I actually got
shade
some in
behind you. I'm waiting for, yeah, yeah. Oh, there you go, Evil Dead. And and right behind you where is that big ass shade that you fixed.
Mhm.
I'm waiting for your co-host to like, fucking pop out and go, you know, like trying to scare the crap out of you, you know. But try dealing with this guy over here, you know. Stop looking at me, you know. But that's Frankie, folks. So anybody that doesn't know, Frankie is a little bit sick. Hence the hence we call it the mask and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre fucking uh cutting down and handcuffs. I don't know where you got that, but folks, I don't do anything with Frankie. He's on his own. He's in his room by himself as it is. So I just hear dwindling. But now we went with where they can find you at, and well, let's go and do me here. Says every stripper in America. Anyway, so you can find me at Linktree. So that's L talk linktr.ee// Tattoo Squid Podcast. But that's capital T, and it's a capital TAA2 SQUID podcast, all one word, and you'll get everything from YouTube, Instagram, whatever is out there. I'm pretty much on it. Reddit, Tumblr, you know.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Yeah, like I've been trying to see if we can do an only pods, for like podcasters that do, what they've been doing. Like what's the thing that they do now? Uh, 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 it, it's a thing where people get to do the tiers and all that.
Oh, you're talking about Patreon. Yeah, we got a
Yeah, Patreon.
Patreon as well.
Like
Yeah.
everybody has like a Patreon and all that. So I figured they could do like an only pods. Since they got OnlyFans,
Yeah.
do only pods, but like have like the podcasters and they have this own thing and they're doing it. It's like Patreon. But yeah, I think you probably can get a little bit more money. I guess I don't know. It's just a thought, people. I don't know if I can be able to do it myself because I can't. I'm not well educated on, uh, as you were saying before about how editing and you're doing the stick figures and all that. So
Hmm.
that me, I'm like I do as is. The video is like this, boom, and it's out there. There's no cut to this or cut to that or I mean, I had my girlfriend, she helped me out, but now it's like, you gotta pay money, which I don't have. That's why I want people to go to Cash App and donate, you know. But not for me, but for the podcast. Make it a lot better. Get some you know, give Frankie a girlfriend. Right? Yeah, okay. So but Boomer, thank you for being on and you know, and find out all this different stuff about you and everybody else that watches movies. And now I need to go and get popcorn. And but no, I can't do that because I have to go to bed like soon because I got a new job and for the weekend. So this squid is doing two jobs, folks. Let's see how I am
Yeah.
next week. Yeah, I'll be like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm all right."
I'm right there with you. I got work in the morning as well. So there we
Sorry about
go.
that. I almost like swallowed the wrong way. But folks, follow uh, woo, podcast in the woods. It's like the movie, but it's more the podcast. Follow me. Then we'll have another episode next week, and that's about it. So happy Friday, happy Cinco de Mayo, and yeah, see you on the flip side. So all right. So we're gonna get off of here and gonna talk to Boomer a little bit before he has to go as well. So all right, folks, take it easy. Adios.